families, friends, and especially the fantastic class of 2024, welcome. The enormous honor of speaking to you today arose from my role as senior class advisor, which was an extremely rewarding duty, but obviously could also be an exhausting one. This oddly reminds me of my time in the Navy, which you probably didn't know I was ever in the Navy until Mr. Warner just mentioned it. But in the Navy, every day, even if the ship's tied up to the dock, you go in and everyone does the job they were trained to do or recruited to do. But when the ship went out to sea, everyone got a second job, their underway watch section. And mine was officer in charge of the CIC, the Combat Information Center. Right? Now I can hear what you're thinking. Wow, Higgs, it's like we didn't even know you. I mean, right? You must be very brave, and that must be a dangerous job. Well, no, I'm not, and no, it wasn't. But anyway, the CIC, because of all the electronics and sensitive screens, was kept pitch black and very dark and very cool. And so, if you had worked all day and were given the mid-watch, that's 12 to 4 a.m., the most daunting part of the job was just staying awake. And so try and imagine a room just filled with exhausted sailors with heads bobbing, doing anything they could to stay awake. And I'll tell you, they would all pop immediately awake, 100% alert, if the man or woman on the radar uttered just 4 little letters, CBDR. And I'll explain what that means. Constant bearing, decreasing range. What that means is there's a blip on the radar, something's out there on the surface, and let's say it's right off the starboard, 090, and so they tell me, and I designate it, contact Alpha, whatever, and call it up to the radar, to the bridge, so the ship drivers knew something was out there, and when you got a contact, you check it every 3 minutes. So let's say 3 minutes later, it's still at 090. That's the CB part, constant bearing, okay? And then, so let's say every 3 minutes go by and it's still out there, but it's getting closer and closer and closer. That's the DR, constant bearing, decreasing range. Uh-oh. Now at this point, the 4 letters CBDR can be rephrased as 2 words, collision course. Now, ship captains in the Navy don't like to hear the words collision course, and neither do parents of HPA seniors. 9 months ago, we sat right there, and your class leaders and advisors asked many things from you, but they all boiled down to one, really. Look out for each other. Help each other navigate your senior year to this moment, and you've done it. Do you see, what we were asking you to do is stand the mid-watch, keeping your eyes on the horizon for potential collisions, and you made it. Pardon me. I once sat right where you did at my HPA graduation, and I know what you're feeling, a lot of sense of confidence and pride, and I just have to tell you, take it from a guy who's been there. If you ever get a little too much confidence and too much pride, life has a way of knocking you right back, just reminding you where you came from. That moment for me came about 10 years into my teaching career at HPA. I loaded up my own kids to take them down to the middle school lower campus for school, and pulled down by maintenance and had to wait for one car coming down Kohala Mountain Road. And I didn't recognize the car, but as he came by, the guy goes, and I'm like, all right back, give it to him. So we pull out and stopped at Waiaka Bridge. And one car is coming up Kauai Road, and this person goes, and I'm like, yeah, come on, boy, okay. So we get up over there by, just past the dump by Sandalwood, and the car coming at us goes, and I'm like, wow, I have really made it in this town. I should run for mayor. The moment I thought that, who should jump on my hood but my pet cat who had been surfing on the roof the whole time. And so my kids scream, and I'm like, dear God, why? And anyway, 24, obviously you remember this year for the fun, the friendships, the achievements, and the triumphs, but I hope the journey of your senior year will likewise serve you as a template for success in any future endeavor. We are always told to learn from our mistakes, but fair enough, but that's the hard way. Learn from other people's mistakes, or even better, learn from your successes. You prepared, you worked hard, you made adjustments, you humbly accepted help and advice, and you kept an eye on the radar for potential disasters. Remember this formula, it will serve you well whenever you use it. They say the best teachers are those who challenge you, and I know these professionals did that. But I believe this relationship also works in reverse. The great students challenge their teachers, and you have certainly challenged us with new takes on everything from science to sculpture, from sustainability to Shakespeare. You've come so far, and you're so enjoyable to be around that we love it when you challenge us now. Do you remember when you were sophomores? You people in my English 10 class especially know what I'm talking about. I mean, I had hair before I met you people. English 10 was the only time in my life I've experienced something so painful that became so rewarding. Except a situation like that was when I was a beekeeper. Yeah, back in the 80s, my gramps and I kept beehives for honey, and when you're on this island, when you're trying to maximize your honey, you have to plan on moving your hives a couple times a year. When the kiavis are blooming, take them down to the ocean. When the lehuas are blooming, or the Christmas berries, either one, take them up to the mountains. Now, moving beehives can be a tricky proposition. First of all, you can't do it during the daytime, or else all the bees would be out doing their bee stuff, and they'd fly home and be like, where's the hive? So you got to do it at night. So you commando up to the hive with a flashlight, right, and a piece of screen, because you got to seal off the hive so they don't all fly away when you're driving to the next location, and a staple gun to secure the screen to the hive. Now, you could pretty much put the screen wherever you wanted with little fanfare, but the moment you fire that first staple from the staple gun into the hive, the queen sends out the varsity team, and they come to play. Now, I'd be ready for them. I'd have, long sleeves and gloves, and tape up my pant legs to prevent any unwanted visitors from below, and wear a veil like this. Huh? Something like that. This one's the new kind where it zips to a suit. Ours was just had a drawstring that sat on a hat, right? So when you did this, when thousands of bees are probing every square inch of your body, eventually 2 or 3 or 4 find their way into your veil, and they're mad. They're normally mellow buzz, are just high-pitched attack whine, and so when mad bees are in your veil, your every instinct is to tear that thing off your face. But if you do that, you may as well change your name to Peter or Polly Pincushion. You're dead. So you're left with only one option: to subdue the bees, and that is to stand there like a moron and punch yourself in the face over and over. So here it comes, metaphor time. You guys are the honey, and you've been worth every sting, but the people out there that love you have taken a few shots to the face on your behalf along the way. So thank them. Okay, beautiful. At this point, I'm sure most of you are like, all right, hey, funny man, thanks for the bees and the cats. How about some advice we can use when we walk out the door? Beautiful, here he comes. Pay attention. In the game of golf, if you're playing with family or close friends, like a casual game, and you're teeing off and you just send one in the wrong direction into the next county, you can declare what they call a mulligan. A mulligan means you just score nothing on your scorecard, just instantly put down a new ball and pretend the first one never even happened. Real life almost never offers mulligans. So soak this in. Understand, your graduation is perhaps the greatest mulligan you will ever get. When you walk out of this building in a few minutes, whether you're going to college or gap year or right into the working world, no one out there knows what you've done here, okay? If all through HPA you turn in your work late or not at all, from now on, you're that punctual kid from prep school. If your classmates or teachers thought you were a slack underachiever, not anymore. Now you're the go-getter from Hawaiʻi who always proposes creative new ideas. If you never took an academic risk, now you're that brave student who will take on any subject. You're minutes away from a completely fresh start. Let your graduation release you to be the person you always wanted to be, freeing yourself from even your own reputation, your own habits, and your own momentum. Now, some of you might be thinking, I'm already pretty perfect. I don't really need a mulligan. Beautiful. So let your graduation mark the moment that you started to change the world. Now, if you're thinking, whoa, slow down, Brother Keems, change the world? I can't even change a flat tire. Perfect. Then let this be the moment you determine to do that. Okay? I'm just trying to say that you, version 2.0, can start today when you walk out that door. That's why graduation, the end of all your schooling, is oddly called commencement. Okay? We're not just celebrating the end of everything you've done, but the beginning of what you will accomplish or give to the world. I started off this morning talking about senior class advisors. Here's one thing you need to know. When we sign the 10-month contract that mentions being a senior advisor, nowhere does it say, I hereby agree to provide support, recommendations, and friendships to my advisees forever. But we will. We will. And it's always been that way. The only reason I'm here is because after a bad car accident, my HPA advisors and teachers and coaches brought me back, first as a coach, a chaperone, and then finally as a teacher. And these guys had names like Schutz, Colson, and Watson. You know them from your track, your gym, and your AV program because they were legends. I'll be lucky to get the Higgins Memorial Broom Closet, but that's all right. And you wouldn't believe how many employment recommendations I still write for advisees I had years ago. Want to know why? That's because you can go get a glamorous degree from a prestigious college, but your pointy-headed professor doesn't know you, doesn't know, how you pick yourself up after a fall, or how you make every group you're with better. They don't know you. They can't say that, but we can, and we will. Just like you have each other's backs, we will have yours too. You call us anytime you need to, got it? For the rest of your adult lives, people will ask you, where did you go to school? Depending where you are, that question can be asking completely different information. On the mainland, where did you go to school probably means where did you go to college, university. But in Hawaiʻi, where did you go to school always means where did you go to high school. When you tell them HPA, if the reaction is positive, that's because they know you have the most beautiful campus with teachers who love you and friends from all over the world. If the reaction is negative, you're probably talking to someone who's jealous they didn't go to HPA. You will certainly come back someday to find things have drastically changed. But don't let that discourage you. The changes are almost always for the better. Take my class, for example. We had no rubber track, no art center, no energy lab. We did have plays without a theater, computers without an internet, and a swim team without a swimming pool. Yeah, every day the swim team would stuff into a van and either dodge the icebergs in Kohala Pool or dodge the sharks in Kauai Harbor. And that's not lies, either of them. Okay. You notice you don't see any swimming banners from the 1980s. Interesting fact, It turns out that swimming with sharks has no incentive to become the fastest swimmer. Does provide plenty of incentive not to be the slowest. It was a training program perfectly designed to produce a giant, terrified pack of average swimmers through natural selection. Speaking of those banners, you will sometimes hear HPA old-timers say, oh, 204, what a great class, okay? But the truth is this, being a great class has nothing to do what banners you put on that wall or what colleges you go to. You judge a great class by how well you loved and supported each other and how you help make the road easier for those who will follow you. You judge a great class by the incredible people you are and the amazing individuals you will become. And trust me, you are a great class. 24, after being regaled by stories of cats and bees and swimming with sharks, it would be perfectly reasonable if your takeaway from this speech would be not to take yourself seriously. Wrong. It is indeed a wonderful gift to be able to laugh at yourself, but the truth is, there's never been a more appropriate time to take yourself seriously. You're so smart, you're well prepared, you have youth and energy on your side. So go out there, chase a goal, or even a wild, crazy dream, or a dozen of them, and do it seriously. 24, thank you so much. It has been an honor and a pleasure to be a crew member on your voyage. We love you and wish you every blessing.